Jail time for a man in Mecosta County convicted of jury tampering after passing out flyers on a public sidewalk in the front of the courthouse. It's a case that Fox 17's Dana Chiklis broke that gained national attention regarding its impact on free speech rights. Dana's here in studio now with a closer look at Keith Wood's sentencing this morning. Dana.
Right, Janice, we've been following this case since day one. When Keith Wood, he was first charged, he exclusively spoke to us on camera saying he never thought he was breaking the law, just educating the public on jury rights. Some believe the pamphlets he handed out are controversial. Others argue it's his First Amendment right. But the court only focused on jury tampering in his trial, not free speech. And today, as his attorney appeals his case, Wood went to jail.
Keith Wood with his wife and his 8 young children moments before his sentencing.
Because he is going straight to jail today.
Ending in handcuffs. In June, a jury convicted Wood of the 1-year misdemeanor jury tampering.
Our defense is a First Amendment defense.
It started November 2015, Wood passing out pamphlets on jury rights, including a juror's right to vote their conscience, standing on this public sidewalk outside the Mecosta County Courthouse. It was the day of a trial Wood testified he was interested in, though he says he believed no trial would happen. And in fact, unknown to Wood's jury, no jury was ever seated in that unrelated November case. Before he was sentenced to 8 weekends to jail, 6 months probation and fines, the prosecutor argues despite Wood's clean record, he knew what he was doing was wrong.
This was not a person who made a one-time mistake. And then he hasn't demonstrated that he's kind of shown that he realizes now the significance of what he's done. In fact, the testimony shows the contrary.
Following the prosecutor's push for 45 days in jail, the defense argues Wood was only trying to educate the public. Jail time, let alone the conviction, violates free speech.
He exercised what he believes are his free speech rights, did it out on the sidewalk before this court, and that because of that deserves 45 days in jail, let alone 1 day in jail. I totally disagree with that.
Adding jail time for this first-time offender, a father of 8, who's the sole financial supporter of his family, would put them on welfare.
And if this court were to put my client in jail for something like this, for 45 days, you're essentially sentencing him to losing his business, losing his source of income, and ability to care for his family over handing out a flyer.
The prosecutor denied Fox 17 an interview, but says Judge Kimberly Boer's sentencing is reasonable, as well as her denying the defense's motion to stay Wood's sentence pending appeal. As for the defense, jail time for a first-time offender and misdemeanor case is unprecedented. He's now appealing on First Amendment grounds.
It was an informational pamphlet. You can disagree with what's in the pamphlet, but that's what free speech is all about. And I see a trend in our culture, in our society, of squelching free speech. If you don't like what somebody is saying, squelch them. I guess we'll see what the higher courts say.
So many twists and turns in this case. We saw it through. We were just there this morning for the sentencing. So what's happening now is the appeal process. And I've been in touch with David Coleman, that's Keith Wood's attorney, and just within the hour he was still waiting in court. He's trying to get an emergency hearing and appeal this verdict and case overall with the circuit court in Mecosta County. Another judge, I was told, in that county just recused himself, didn't want to hear the appeal. So he's waiting, and if necessary, it'll go to the Michigan Court of Appeals. So a lot still to come in this case. Another reason why the prosecutor said he wasn't ready to talk on camera about it.
Wow. I mean, a lot of people might be surprised he got jail time for passing out pamphlets, but I mean, his family is really impacted by this. 8 children. 8
children. You saw them all sitting behind them in court today. I was talking to the mom, you know, Keith Wood's wife, after this, holding her infant 4 or 5 month old baby, and she was just in shock. You know, she wasn't ready to talk on camera either, but she did tell me, you know, I just feel like a zombie. I'm trying to process this. It's just unbelievable. And so still some more to come in this case. If the Court of Appeals hears this case, if it gets that far, this could set precedent. So we'll continue to follow it and keep everybody updated.
All right, big one. Dana, thanks for the update here today. The man who was reported missing earlier this week.
Prosecutors demand gag order in jury pamphlet case. Authorities still trying to suppress details of charge now heading to appeal. It was back in 2015 that a Michigan man was standing on the sidewalk in front of a courthouse, handing out brochures with common knowledge about juries in America, when he was ordered by officials, under the direction of a judge, to come in. There, he was arrested, jailed under a $150,000 bond, and told that he was breaking the law by sharing his information. All, it appeared at the time, in an effort to keep from jurors various tidbits of information about juries, how much power they have in cases, and the like. The case against Keith Wood is now heading to appeal, and officials apparently still are trying to keep that information under wraps. It was at a recent hearing for Wood, where his lawyers were asking for bond so he could be free while his case is appealed on First Amendment free speech questions, that the prosecutor, Amy Clapp, asked the judge for a gag order in the case. That would prevent Wood or his lawyers from talking about the case, including to the media. She was very upset with the media attention given this case, said a courtroom observer. Get Liberty's Secrets, The Lost Wisdom of America's Founders by Joshua Charles to discover, or rediscover, what the founders really intended. The judge, Eric Janes, however, dismissed the request, and then he decided that the sentence of 8 weekends in jail and 6 months of probation should be stayed pending the decision from an appeals court. It was just hours earlier that Judge Kimberly Booher had announced the penalty for Wood's conviction in court of standing on the public sidewalk outside the courthouse and handing out flyers containing generic juror rights information that said nothing about any specific case pending before the Mecosta County courts. Originally charged with a felony for that, he was convicted of misdemeanor jury tampering. Wood's lawyer, David Coleman of the Great Lakes Justice Center, explained the major points that will be brought up on appeal. It's a clear First Amendment speech issue, and Booher refused to let Wood's defenders talk about the issue with the jury, he explained. Also, he said, Booher refused to allow us to argue or comment to the jury on one of the elements of the crime charged. One of the elements of the crime of jury tampering is that the prosecutor must prove that Mr. Wood tried to influence jurors in the trial of a case. It would seem obvious that this element could not be proven because no trial was ever held and no jury was actually sworn in on a specific case. However, we were not allowed to argue this fact to the jury. Third, he said, Booher had ordered that a person becomes a juror when they get a jury summons. We argued, and the Michigan Supreme Court has agreed in earlier case precedent, that a person is not a juror until sworn in to serve on a jury in a case. So we were also prohibited from arguing this point to the jury in Keith's case, Coleman told WND. It was Mecosta County District Judge Peter Jakelvik who ordered Wood's arrest November 24, 2015, moments after Wood handed out about 50 juror rights pamphlets on the public sidewalk outside the courthouse. WND reported earlier this year that prosecutors contend Wood tampered with a jury even though there was no jury empaneled that day. The issues in the case center on free speech, the rights of jurors, the rights of citizens on public sidewalks to express their opinion, and share information, and efforts by judges and prosecutors to run the court system by their preferences. For example, if a citizen hands out a pamphlet on the issue of jury nullification in front of a courthouse to people who haven't yet been sworn in as jurors, can the citizen be charged with improperly influencing a jury? The state's Supreme Court has ruled that a jury is not a jury until it is sworn, but in Wood's case, prosecutors contended that any potential juror also is considered a juror, and Booher affirmed that. Get Liberty's Secrets, The Lost Wisdom of America's Founders by Joshua Charles to discover, or rediscover, what the founders really intended. The case developed when Wood, a former pastor, stood on the sidewalk outside his local courthouse late in 2015 handing out pamphlets from the Fully Informed Jury Association. But Judge Peter Jakelvik, Magistrate Tom Lyons, Prosecutor Brian Thide and others inside the courthouse didn't want him to do that. They ordered him into the courthouse, arrested him and set his bond at a punitive $150,000, which left him behind bars until he could arrange to put a $15,000 tab on his credit card to get out. He was charged with felony obstruction and misdemeanor jury tampering. Another judge shortly later dismissed the felony but left the misdemeanor standing, and a circuit court ruling also left the misdemeanor jury tampering charge unchanged. Wood was handing out to passers-by a pamphlet from a federally recognized 501c 3 Education organization when he was ordered into the courthouse. The pamphlet told of the authority and power of jurors, and while Wood was aware court was going on that day, he did not know the defendant or counsel. WND reported earlier in the case the pamphlet is about the concept of jury nullification. It explains that juries can judge a particular law as well as a case. A report on jury nullification by the University of Missouri-Kansas City explains it occurs when a jury returns a verdict of not guilty despite its belief that the defendant is guilty of the violation charged. The jury in effect nullifies a law that it believes is either immoral or wrongly applied to the defendant whose fate they are charged with deciding. Such decisions were common during the era of slavery in the United States, when juries acquitted activists who helped runaway slaves. Juries clearly have the power to nullify. Whether they also have the right to nullify is another question, the report said. Once a jury returns a verdict of not guilty, that verdict cannot be questioned by any court, and the double jeopardy clause of the Constitution prohibits a retrial on the same charge. Early in the nation's history, judges often informed jurors of their nullification right. For example, our first Chief Justice, John Jay, told jurors, "You have a right to take upon yourselves to judge both the facts and law." In 1805, one of the charges against Justice Samuel Chase in his impeachment trial was that he wrongly prevented an attorney from arguing to a jury that the law should not be followed. However, over time the judiciary reversed its position, and in 1895 a defendant's conviction was affirmed even though the trial judge refused the defense attorney's request to let the jury know of their nullification power. Now, prosecutors and judges routinely oppose even discussion of the concept, and judges tell jurors it is their duty to apply the law as it is given to them, whether they agree with the law or not, the report said. As it stands now, jurors must learn of their power to nullify from extra-legal sources such as televised legal dramas, novels, or articles about juries that they might have come across. Some juries will understand that they do have the power to nullify, while other juries may be misled by judges into thinking that they must apply the law exactly as it is given, the report said. Ilya Somin, professor of law at George Mason University, wrote that such discretion has much in common with prosecutorial discretion, in which prosecutors use their own judgment to pursue some cases and not others. He noted legal scholar Glenn Reynolds pointed out that while the power of juries to let guilty people go free in the name of justice is treated as suspect and called jury nullification, the power of prosecutors to do the exact same thing is called prosecutorial discretion, and is treated not as a bug, but as a feature in our justice system. There's no obvious reason why one is better than the other, he said.
Hey, Sheriff, we have a question about why your office, your intelligence division, is investigating private citizens for criminal investigation that happen to be activists that are overseeing your department. Why would you have your intelligence division investigate private citizens? We have done... Sir, we don't hate anyone. We love freedom and we love American people. And government is out of control. That's why you're seeing such a revolt nationwide. Why can't you just answer, why is Susan Edwards, your intelligence division, investigating private citizens? This should not happen.
Are you here to apply for a job?
Possibly I might be applying for a job, but that's irrelevant to my question. Why would you ask that question?
Well, enjoy the fair.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Excuse you?
Excuse me, sir.
So those of you that haven't
Wow.
been on a bike before,
Sheriff's getting a little too pushy. You work for us, Sheriff. Just keep that in mind. At one time we respected you, but not with that type of attitude.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I found that I had to make a change this ending on my videos, letting you know about the channel and fair use laws, you know, how we can report on other people's reporting and how it's good, how it's bad, etc. But you guys can look it up yourself. It is legal. It's in there. But like I've told you before, that I've been cut off from making money on YouTube for 4 years. It's really weird, bizarre, but they cut the money off, but they said you can keep the channel, and now YouTube makes all the money. And if you get bored, plug it into Social Blade website, and you'll see that they are making a huge amount off the site. Right now it's at 63 million views, 53,000 subscribers, almost 3 million views a month. You know, trying to wake people up, and I make nothing. In fact, I got a customer that's ex-congressman. He said if I could ever find a lawyer, sue YouTube on it. But because this is nuts, 4 hours a day, and to save America. You know, but at the same time, it's worth it. Look at what our founding fathers did. They died for this country. So, but getting back to the money part, this is why I'm redoing the video. Is my dream of everyone giving $1, and it's going to be $53,000 a year, or if they did Patreon, which you know, can be monthly. That is not working. That'd be great if it did. Nothing is perfect. And I appreciate the people that do donate, you know, what they can on PayPal. And there again, I'm letting you guys know that is not much. Is, you know, monthly is, oh my god. So anyways, yes, you cannot live on it. It's very, very, very low amount. But the dollar things, I do appreciate that. But when I first said everybody give $1, that's not working. I'm just calling. I'm just letting you guys know it's, yeah, that dream, everybody gives $1, 53,000 subscribers, it's not working. So, yes, if you can give more than that, you know, I appreciate it. Like I said, you know, I'm in a unique situation where, you know, what, we're already debt free, and I'm not rich, but with the little business that we have, I am able to do what I am able to do 45 hours a day, you know, letting you guys know what's going on. In 4 years, I've did the whole thing myself, 12,000 videos on there. I literally get emails where people are like, holy crap, I never knew it was this bad. And it is this bad, and it's getting worse every day because we have the internet, we have cell phones, we have cameras everywhere now, and it's just disgusting what's going on. And then, as you guys know, too, now we got Trump, we got Jeff Sessions doing a war on drugs, and now he wants to go after the forfeiture laws again. It's just unfreaking real. So, if you can give more than that, that dream of everybody giving $1, yeah, that old video, that's not working. They're not, they're just not. So anyways, if you can give more than that, that dream is not working. Hardly anybody is giving. There you go. So that's why I'm remaking the video. If you can give more than that, that would be great. And there again, like I said, the Patreon's there. There is some people on there that are starting to give, but there again, it's very, very low. And like I said, I don't want to get rich off of that. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because, you know, it's still so stinking corrupt. It's not even funny. My court case that I'm going to be paying out of my pocket myself with Charlotte County's coming up. They illegally looked me up and then posted all my information on LEOAFFAIRS website. They basically doxed me, however you want to say that. I forget what the word is, and they outed me, man. And that information on that site went out to 500 sheriffs, deputies, people that work at the jail, etc., etc., etc. So, yeah, it is very, very scary, but we're going to do a federal case, 1983 case, violating freedom of speech. We have 17 cameras in the house now. We got 2 cameras in the car. I always carry a camera plus a cell phone. A lot of people are highly recommending I get a vest now. If I could, if the wife would let me, I would run for sheriff. We are trying to push the thing nationwide right now, where just to mix it up and to get the topics out there is register to run for sheriff, NPA, no party affiliation, as a write-in, and that is completely free, and you can participate in the elections. And there's a lot of stuff. We got a guy, James McLinnis in Pinellas County, Tampa, who almost won. He experienced the corruption himself. The story is unbelievable. Look him up. It's mind-blowing what they did. It pissed him off. He is very, very smart. He has way more money than I did. He ran for sheriff at the last 3 months last year in 2016 and almost won. He got all of the black vote. And the reason why he did that is because he ran on, I will not bust, we're in Florida, I will not bust anybody for weed anymore unless it's an ungodly huge amount, like pounds. And then he also ran on no more victimless crimes, no more of this freaking road pirate bull crap. And then he was going to cut the budget by 30%. And when you think about that, you can. If you stop the road pirates, you can get rid of a bunch of people. Gone. So, the wife has been saying, yes, I can, yes, I can't. So I don't know. We're trying to find somebody that can do it because I am busy doing this anyways. But, so I'm making a video, like I said, that $1 a month from everybody, you know, for 53,000 subscribers, that is not working. I'm just letting you guys know. Absolutely give way more than $1 a month. If you can, I appreciate anything. By the way, remember too, when you give that, PayPal takes like freaking 15 to 20%, so it's even worse than that. But, and there again, like I'm letting you guys know, it's way, what I get is very, very low. Appreciate it, but it is very, very low. Can't live on it. I'm just, you know, I'm working, and that's what I'm working on. And that court case is going to cost a buttload of money. That's federal court. Just the filing fees and the depositions that we're going to be doing with this corrupt cop. So there's another reason to give. We are going to be doing a deposition with this very corrupt. He was in a drug squad. He is a bad guy. He's on steroids. We heard steroids are rampant here. That's why their attitude is so bad. and we are going to get him on video, and it will be on YouTube. So that case alone is $5,000 just to bring it to court, and that's my money out of my pocket. So there's another reason to give, and give way more than $1 if you can. So keep that in mind. This is the new video, and I see, God, I talk a lot. It's already 7 minutes, but had to make it just to let you know the $1 a month from everybody is not working. They're not doing it. So if you can give more than that, please. So thanks. Keep it up. Share, like, subscribe, tell your friends, send me your videos on corruption, and I'll post it.